Welcome to Guysuco Round Up. I'm Angela Abraham Parks. Happy Mother's Day. Our special program of Guysuco Round Up includes the advice of mothers who play leading roles in our business. The Guysuco Training Center, which celebrates another year of fulfillment, models the care of mothers.
From the very land that gave sugar around the world the name Demerara comes the finest quality of cane sugar, Demerara Gold. Enjoy the real thing from the original source, the rich, fertile Demerara coastline where sugarcane has been harvested since the mid-17th century. The result is here for you to enjoy. Wherever this unique sugar flavor is needed, Demerara Gold is the ingredient that will always create a stir.
Welcome back. Mothers are known for making preparation for changes, and in our business, adjustments have been made to protect the lives of employees.
And even with the 3 estates, very often we talk about the 4 estates. We talk about Rose Hall, that workers were made redundant at Rose Hall, at Skeldon Estate, Wales Estate, Enmore or East Demerara Estate. And we forget that Guysuco still has 3 estates, which are the largest employers in the regions where they are. In Region 6, Albion has about 3,400 employees, and Albion is a $9 billion a year business. It's the largest business in Region 6. It's the largest employer in Region 6. iFlut is a $4 billion business in Region 3. And it employs over 1,500 employees. So it's still the largest employer in Region 3, and it's the largest business in Region 3. Moving forward, we intend to work closely with the RDC and the business community in the region. Guysuco is not merely our business, it is your business also. And we will manage this business together. So we are not going to manage this business as Guysuco only. Very often you hear that the corporation is where it is because of the management. But from here onwards, we're going to be doing this together. We meaning the management of Guysuco, we meaning the employees of Guysuco, all of the workers, we meaning the Regional Democratic Council, the NDCs, we meaning the business community. We're going to manage this business together. We're looking at our business model moving forward is that we're going to focus more on what we call a triple bottom line. A triple bottom line meaning before we were focusing on a single bottom line, which was economics. But now we're going to also be focusing on the economic aspect of the business, which is producing sugar, producing molasses, and cogeneration. We'd like to do cogeneration at Albion and Iflut. And we also hope to do plantation white, to produce plantation white at Albion Estate. It's a kind of white sugar, so this is added value. At Blairmont Estate here, you'll be producing Demerara Gold, both for the local and the overseas market.
In the office at Enmore, where I started, all the clerical staff there were in their late 30s, early 40s, age and experience. So we, myself and a few other persons apply at the same time. When I went for the interview, competing with two other male applicants, I think what got me the job at the time was when I told the HR manager, or the personal manager as we used to call them, if no one employs me, how would I ever get experience? And that's what gave me the job. So that's what I want to say is a first, because that's when I got into Guysuco. Guysuco was offering the service of, or the accounting technician, and applicants were invited to apply. I didn't apply because I thought, look, coming to work, I have a daughter, I have a family. Where would I find the time to study? Never thought that I was going to start studying again, because I started working straight out of secondary school. I was very thankful for all the support and all the encouragement I got from the staff, head office, all the estates, and the staff themselves on the location, the support. And because I knew almost everybody, being at Skellden for over 15 years, it was not as difficult and as challenging as I expected it was going to be. So I thoroughly enjoyed that stint as the estate manager of Skellden Estate. Lots of people want to know how sugar is being made, how the sugar cane is grown, how the sugar is produced in the factory, extraction and all of that. Prior to now, we have been allowing lots of persons visiting the location just to see firsthand what's happening. So we thought, why not make it into a business? Because it is what we know. We have history, over 300 years of history, sugarcane production, sugar production. So we realized, or we found that there are lots of tour operators who are really keen on bringing people to see firsthand how the product is, or the end product. So you start with sugar cane and planting the canes in the field, and your end product is sugar in the package, or now molasses in the bottle. So that's the part where, because of that, we also recognize that we are good at our production, planting cane, harvesting, making sugar. But where tourism is concerned, it's new to us. It's a new area we're venturing into. And so recently we have partnered with Department of Tourism to get the support, the training, whatever we need to take off into heritage tourism. I would encourage employees and staff to just enjoy what you do. Come to work, you're at work, and do what you're expected to do. Go all out, whether it takes you a little out of your way, whatever sacrifice you have to make to get your job done, do it. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're being paid for, to do a job, and I believe a job has to be done as per criteria, whatever is expected. You take on the job, do it wholeheartedly, right? Do your job properly, so that at the end of the day, you come to work and each day ensure that you do whatever has to be done. I also have a motto in that I like to learn something new every day. So by learning something new every day, you're developing yourself.
The materials management department is part of the ISO, which is an international standard body. And our objective here is to ensure that all the materials purchased are in keeping with specifications and they're here on time for production. That's our main role here. And this is to satisfy the estates and to help them reach their goals and objectives. But each estate budgets for themselves. They do the ordering and they provide us with their needs. We do not budget for the estates, they do their budgeting. What we do is plan purchasing so we can have the goods here on time. They provide their requirements, they provide their budgets in terms of the value that they've budgeted for, and we work with that so we can get the items for them. Mother, I have children that go through the similar things that the young people go, and the likes and dislikes are similar. And sometimes I know what motivates them. They prefer that mother touch in terms of listening to them, giving them advice, and that's a part of management. You have to do that sometimes. And you need to listen. Sometimes they just want that listening ears, especially when they have their personal issue, and you got to know, how to deal with them. You got to be very sensitive.
The Human Resources Department has certain points for focusing on so that we provide the requisite support to the production areas. When we hire people, it's important that we do induction, onboarding of new employees. If you bring a man into the system and you don't tell him what you want from him, his colleague is going to tell him what shortcut they just apply to the work. And if the shortcut is what has the estate in the position it is in, it is best if we don't teach the new man shortcut, right? Teach him the right way to do the work. The department itself is always responsible for teaching the man the job itself. HR can motivate the employee by discussing the benefits, procedures for handling different issues like sickness, and if you're not going to be at work, you can't come 3 days after and say you weren't able to come to work because somebody died of worries. If you have a job, you got to treat your job with respect. This is our estate. And if we do not focus on getting the business that we're involved in accomplished, I don't have to tell you what other locations experience for dropping the ball. Good? I'm from Skeldon. I can't say I wasn't part of it. Good? But it was a big surprise to me that the biggest factory, the biggest location in terms of potential, got closed. Absenteeism, this is what could upturn all the hard work that most of the people are putting in. Every time we don't come to work, something gets left undone, or some important part of what we have to do gets left lagging. Absenteeism is like a silent beast that by the time it breaks the surface, it could upturn all the hard work other people are putting in. HR department is saying, be your best self. When we come to work, who do we bring to work? The person who come in to mark name, or the person who come in to work? And to ensure that today is better than yesterday. Everyone's productivity and effectiveness on the job needs to increase. This is something we all have to believe. This is something we all have to practice every day.
Let's now spend some time at the Guysuco Training Center of Port Morant, which holds aloft the motherly role in the corporation.
On March the 18th, we had to make a decision to send on these apprentices. So we fall under the category of a school, and this is a living-in school with all the students staying together. For their own personal safety and for the safety of others, we had to make a decision to send home everybody. At the day of the departure, myself and the staff, we had a meeting and we prepared at least about 2 weeks assignment for them. We didn't anticipate that at that time that this thing could have prolonged for this amount of time. However, since that's the new change now, we decided to develop an e-platform for them, whereby they are being given assignment and testing now on the e-platform. However, as you would know, apprentice training is more practical based. A lot of work is supposed to be done practically, which is one of the setbacks. And then the e-platform itself possesses a lot of challenges. What you find happening is that some of the students don't have the internet service. Sometimes they complain that they got blackout, the page is not loading up. So we are having our challenges when it comes to having these system in place to make it smooth. But the guys there, they are working, the instructors are working, they're trying other methods to see how they can actually reach out to these students.
I'm attached to the Agri-Art section of the Guysuco Training Center. First, let me advise all Guyanese to be safe during this time of the COVID-19, and as an instructor and as a person of Guysuco, I wish that we all come through this pandemic safely. What can I say? It's something that we've never seen or we have never experienced in this country, and by God's grace I pray that all Guyanese will do their best to ensure that they are safe. As an agriculture mechanic instructor, I do my part, I advise my students to do their part, and hopefully we can all come through it successfully.
Since our apprentices went home on March 18th, we initially give them 2 weeks assignment because with the Ministry of Education guidelines is how long the schools are supposed to be closed for. But as you know, we extended, so we have been keeping in contact with them through social media, some through Messenger, some through WhatsApp, with our assignments and assessments. But those media platforms are somewhat limited, so we have been experimenting with the Google Classroom and the Google Form so that we can get more interaction with them. So we don't want to leave them on the wayside. We have the exams coming up. A fixed date hasn't been set as yet, but we have to prepare them so that when they do return, they won't be lagging behind. So that, as I said, we're experimenting with the Google Classroom and the Google Forms to see how far we can get with that. So in terms of practical, we're very limited with that. There's not much we can do with us being here and the students at home. The most we can do is probably give them some advice. They can ask questions, we can answer their questions. There's not much more we can do other than that.
Mr. Shampago, I'm currently at the Guysuco Training Center in Port Morant. We're in the fitting and machine workshop here, as you can see. Currently, I'd like to outline a few things that we are doing currently against the backdrop of the COVID-19 pandemic that affects us in Guyana here and the world globally. What we're doing here currently, since the students or the apprentices are away at home, is basically some theoretical work which we would have given them prior to them being sent home. That of course would have lasted for quite maybe 2 weeks. We also have created a WhatsApp group, which we disseminate information to them, like handouts and so on various topics based on the curriculum. Also, we're doing regular electronic assignments via WhatsApp and the Google Classroom. Currently, we're scheduled to have the testing being done in the various subject areas at the school. It's this morning, as a matter of fact, we've sent out our timetable for such to be done during the course of this week and next week. So basically, we have things streamlined. We have programs already, systems already put in place to facilitate such. What we are also doing here, being at the workshop, is that we effect minor repairs on all our machinery that we have in the workshop currently. Also, we do like general maintenance in the inside, outside, so as to keep us occupied. Plus, we're doing some filing work. We're also doing some preparation work, because remember, we have to keep in contact with these apprentices and guide them over the internet via WhatsApp or the Google Classroom.
Welcome to the Guysuco Apprentice Hostel compound, so to speak. The communications unit of Guysuco and I are here, and I'm just sending out or giving out some information as to how we are upkeeping and supporting the apprentices although they're at home. To start off with, they would have moved off, and I'm quite sure that the institution, Mr. Sopa, would have spoken about the academical aspect of how they're being contained at home. For me, I have little WhatsApp groups with them, and we are in constant contact. And like they would have attested to the fact that many of the times I've been telling them, the kids, you have to be susceptible to change, and this is one of the biggest changes that they have to be susceptible to. I've told them about patience. I've told them, well, I always encourage them to read, where they visit patients and so on and so forth. But the big thing about it is that I've been encouraging all of them to do gardening. And most of them have started. They've gotten seedlings. They are doing gardening. I said at least you have something to look forward to over a period of time. And that is what is going to make, once you're expecting, you're going to be more positive. You're going to be ready once you're expecting something. And they're doing this gardening, coupled with the fact that they're reading. Many times often we are on the phone through WhatsApp, the social media and so on. I would speak to them. I would encourage them to pray. It's important. The whole religious intervention is very, very important for those who believe in that. I encourage them with that. We even do little prayer sessions ourselves. And I just keep encouraging them all the time. I myself here too, use of initiative, so to speak. I have started a kitchen garden that is normally done at the hostel here in my own little way. My son, who is an apprentice, a second-year apprentice too, him and I, we've been cultivating, we've been planting in the event. And as I always tell them too, planning is very important. Pre-planning and the present and the post-planning. So we're into pre-planning. So in the event of if school should resume, anytime we have cash crops to start reaping. So far we've cultivated thick leaf callaloo, cabbage, we pepper, we've planted squash, eggplants, pumpkin, the same as they would call it, that's the local name, celery, tomatoes and so on and so forth. And we intend to go farther afield because it's kind of exciting. As I said, it's something that we have here to look forward to. And in so doing, I am setting the pace for the youngsters to see, for the apprentices to see. So they're following suit home to, actually it's competitive. And they call me the Minister of Agriculture now for training school. So I would go around, they would take snapshots of their gardens and so on, and they'd show me what is happening. Even to some of the cooks, some of the employees are now planting too. So we have it going, the interest is there, and that is what is keeping us going, coupled with the fact that I'm encouraging them to just stay susceptible to that change. The change that has come about so quickly, so rapidly, and we have to live with it. There is hope, there is some form of hope, as they say, once there's life, there's hope. And that is what we're doing at the Guysuco Apprentice Hostel. So the family is still close together. Parents will also call and make contact with us and so on and so forth. So that is how we're at it. When they were leaving to go home, when they heard that they were leaving, some of them were appalled in the sense that, well, it's going home. But then this lockdown thing, so to speak, open, close inverted commas, that is what is keeping them at bay. And I keep encouraging them. They like hearing my voice. They like speaking to me. I always give them pep talks. I'm always the type of person that would encourage them, and they look forward to it. So every morning, actually, I got to be up. Last night I was up very late Every morning I got to be up and I get the good morning pops and the good afternoons and what is going on and what is happening. And I keep encouraging them. I told about sanitizing and how to, and these, as we say, bush medicine, the old people. I used to give them that here. So a lot of them know of it. They used to call it the mar. So a lot of them know of that, the tisam and the different herbs they use and how to use them. And I encourage them to stay safe. I always do that. Every little message I send out, every time I speak with them, I always at the end encourage them to stay safe. Very, very important. Because I want everybody here to be back in one accord.
Thank you to all the mothers in Guysuco for your contribution to our business. And with that, we've come to the end of this week's program of Guysuco Round Up. Thank you for staying tuned and continue to practice safe hygiene at home and at work. Until next time, I'm Angela Abraham Parks. Goodbye.